All right, YouTube, Nikki Steve's back in. This time, I'm going to be making a response to Eagles YouTuber Philly Take with RB. He did a video where he vented his frustrations with Howie Roseman and how Howie Roseman has been going about everything wrong, particularly with the quarterback position. He addressed his thoughts on the possibility of Carson Wentz getting traded to the Chicago Bears and bringing Nick Foles back, which he is against. I am also against that. I expressed that in a video myself. And he also expressed how he's frustrated with Howie Roseman for not putting good wide receivers on Wentz when he promised to do that. I'm going to add a point to everything he said in his video. Howie Roseman, he's too familiar with older players from other teams or players that were part of the Eagles organization. He's too familiar with them. He's too familiar with the same type of wide receivers, which he consistently draft over and over and over again. Particularly, I'm going to talk about how he's in that same habit. He brings in the same type of players. He brought back Deshaun Jackson, an old name from the past, 2019. Brought back Nick Foles in 2017, an old name from the past, that was a good one. It was necessary to help when Carson Wentz got injured in our Super Bowl run. Then you got Deshaun Jackson, who hasn't stayed healthy in his run back, keeps bringing back Jason Peters to one-year extent deals. Peters continually gets injured. Brought back Vinny Curry, an old name. He likes to bring back old names, or if it's not, or another one. There was a period of time where Jordan Matthews, he'd get traded, come back to the Eagles, get cut, come back to the Eagles, then get cut. So there was a guy he kept bringing in over and over. And then he's always brings in guys from other teams that have names, but usually don't succeed in the system, like Darius Slay. Big play Slay from the Detroit Lions, but he didn't succeed in the system in 2020. He brought in Jordan Howard, only to let Jordan Howard go to bring him back again. There's other guys I could use too. He brings in these guys that have names. Most of them don't succeed or they can't stay healthy, and they don't last long, so that's another problem. He's too familiar. He's too familiar with names from the past and too familiar with guys that got names that are older. And the Eagles have done a poor job with drafting, especially drafting wide receivers. Especially guys like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is one. Got Mac Hollins as a few. So he's mostly done a poor job drafting as well, but he's too familiar with drafting the same type of players. But instead of drafting a DK Metcalf, he goes and gets a J.J. Arcega-Whiteside instead. Obviously, that's a fail. Like I said, bringing these guys from the past who are in their older years, who have trouble staying healthy, such as Deshaun Jackson, because he had injury problems those few years in Tampa before they brought him back, and his injury struggles have continued. And now there's the possibility they could be bringing back Nick Foles in a trade involving some draft picks from the Bears, with them giving the Bears Carson Wentz, which, again, bringing in another guy from the past, which all that's going to do is create another QB controversy, as RB said in his video. Which hopefully that doesn't happen, but recent history indicates Howie's too familiar with older names from the past and older guys that have a name, period. Instead of trying to invest in the draft, instead of investing in guys like DK Metcalf, or possibly trying to trade up to get a CeeDee Lamb or a Jerry Jeudy, which they didn't do. Instead, they settle basically for what they could get in these drafts. Or oftentimes they pick the wrong people. Now, this year with the Eagles having number 6 pick, hopefully they'll be able to get it right for once. And, Howie throughout his entire run, he's too familiar with drafting the same type of player in the draft that doesn't work out in most instances, and too familiar with re-signing the same players. And as long as Howie's in power, I truly believe he's going to keep doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different outcome, which is not going to happen. And I agree with RB that Howie Roseman is the biggest problem with the Eagles for the reason of he hasn't done a good draft in a long time. He hasn't done a good free agency since the 2017 offseason. He's allowed QB controversies to be a problem in this organization for the past 3 years now, possibly going forward if they bring Nick Foles back. And of course, just so many problems. All those things right there alone are been one of the biggest reason for the downfall of the Eagles since that Super Bowl, from being the Super Bowl champions to 2 missed seasons where they did enough to get into the playoffs to this 4-11-1 season to now having to bring in a new coaching staff to this ongoing soap opera with the QB position that's been going on since the Super Bowl. But Howie Roseman has been one of the main contributors to all this going on. And I truly believe that Howie Roseman is the main problem. And I'm with all the Eagles fans out there who say it is time to fire Howie Roseman. And that's what I'm going to say at that. So RB, I enjoyed your video. I love the points you made. I wanted to add an additional point to what you said. And for those of you that watch this video, you like this video, give this video a like. The more likes it gets, the more YouTube pushes it out for others to enjoy. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And most of all, have a wonderful day. It's Nicky Steve signing off. And I'll see you next time, YouTube.